me a CD with these tunes, and it's this, kind of, rock and blues stuff that's kind of like Badlands or something. I don't know
Okay.
if you're
Oh,
familiar with
cool.
Badlands. I mean, but this guy is scorching. This guy is freaking phenomenal. And I heard it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is great. And anyway, so I got it that night at about 7 o'clock, not last night, but the night before. Literally went in the first thing the next morning and threw down three samples on three of the cuts. I mean, lyrics and everything. And had them back to him by 9:30 yesterday morning.
Oh, wow.
But that's only because, well, of course the music was cool and it was inspiring, but at the same time, you know, man, we got to move on this stuff to survive and to, always just got to be pushing, moving forward and you know, hoping to please people.
Well, speaking of guest spots, you had mentioned Steph Hahn, who you were working with on Age of Liberty, and then of course he has another project that you had mentioned, Hollywood Monsters. Now, from what I understand, you did a guest vocal spot on
Yes.
Evolution, which is coming out sometime here real soon. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, because I didn't, you talk about this segment of groups that you need to hear that you don't know. Well, I didn't know about Hollywood Monsters until uh, stumbling into them as a result of with Vinny Appice drumming with them, and so I heard him and I'm like, my gosh, I mean these great groups and musicians, they're just everywhere, and you don't hear 99% of them. But anyway, I heard Steph, I heard Hollywood Monsters, and it's like, wow, that's just great. And uh, I think I might have messaged him as what it was, just, hey man, I love your stuff. It's great. And he just asked if I wanted to kind of duet on one of his tracks, and that's the same thing. Oh my, because it's great to be asked to do something. You know, it feels good that somebody wants you to do something. So, man, I spun that out. I think the same day. I was excited, and I don't know if you've heard that song, but it's cool. He just does great stuff. So
I
I
haven't
can't.
yet, but I really look forward to it. So I can't wait until that comes out.
Yeah, it's very good, and he's got an all-star, just a brilliant cast of musicians and stuff in the Hollywood Monsters, so should be good.
I'd love to ask this question, Darren, to all of our guests who are on the show, and especially vocalists, because I always find it just amazing to really hear the voices that inspire you, the vocals that you either listen to growing up or what you listen to now and go, man. What are some of your the vocalists throughout the years, or even currently, that inspire you to do what you do, or what you may pattern maybe yourself after?
I love that topic, and it's crazy. Well, growing up, I was a huge Zeppelin fan and Beatles fan. But yeah, just crazy about Zeppelin. But nowadays I just gravitate. I guess I'm most impressed with people that I just think are cool. I mean, 6 weeks ago, dude, I went and saw Iron Maiden,
Ah,
and
so did I.
Bruce is that guy is just knocks me out. I mean, I just and of course his singing's just ridiculous, and I just love his singing. But more than that, the guy's just a freaking monster. Such a strong role model and inspiration. You know, at his age, and just taking the fight out there. That guy just doesn't quit.
No, He does
You
it
know,
all. And you know what? But with the exception, even you just saw, we're going to have a separate Maiden conversation, Biff. But with the exception of even Bruce, you look at Steve Harris is still flying around the stage too. It's amazing.
oh yeah, those guys. It's just the coolest thing, and truly inspiring. And I'll tell you the same deal with Dio, because I saw Heaven and Hell, and it was probably maybe a month left of that tour. I don't know. It was very shortly after I saw him that he was diagnosed with his stomach cancer. So, you think about it, the guy's 67. He had the illness at that point, although it wasn't diagnosed. He's traveling the world. He's hitting however many 200 plus probably dates a year. The guy's a workhorse, doing an album a year forever. That's inspiring. And not only that, but managed to chop my head off at the concert at the same time. So I was talking this morning how I'm blown away at Axl Rose right now. And I kind of missed on Guns N' Roses a little bit. I was, I guess, in another place, so I really didn't, I wasn't deep into Guns N' Roses. But to see what he's doing right now with this comeback, and they're getting back together, and seeing these clips, man, he's putting on a fight, and he's sounding good.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually going to ask you for your take on Axl. It's now official, is going to be fronting AC/DC for the remainder of their dates and their makeup dates. What are your thoughts on Axl Rose and how he fits with AC/DC?
I just think it's crazy, and of course I have no knowledge of the circumstances, any of the real circumstances behind that. I'm big. Personally, I'm really big on loyalty and stuff, so your instinct is, well, why are they getting rid of the, dropping
Brian Johnson?
Yeah, that's just, but I just don't know what's going on there. At the same time, that was one of the clips I stumbled into, was Angus getting up on stage with Guns N' Roses and them doing that Whole Lotta Rosie cut, and it was. Did you see that? Have you seen?
Yeah, actually, Guns N' Roses has covered Whole Lotta Rosie all the way back to the Lies tour in '88, '89.
Okay.
So that's a track they've had in their
so
lineup.
Yeah, that's a bread and butter cut. He sounded freaking awesome on that thing, I thought.
Absolutely.
And how epic is Angus Young and Slash up there cracking that thing? That's cool.
Very cool, very cool. So, Darren, tell us, our listeners out there, we have listeners pretty much on every continent. How can they follow you, what you're getting into, and kind of keep up with you?
You know what? My, I guess, primary platform is my darn YouTube channel, as far as any quirky, weird junk I'm doing day to day. I throw up there, and that's just crisp recording. YouTube.
Okay, very good.
But there's plenty of curveballs to be had over there. Heck, there's and this is, I'm crazy excited about it. I don't know if you're familiar with Medeski, Martin, and Wood at all. They're from Mars jazz ensemble, but they're like a groove. I don't know. You just need to check them out. But we have this album we're finishing and calling the group Peace Warriors. But I'd really suggest, check out Medeski, Martin, and Wood, because they're pretty mind numbing.
Will do. And Darren, the hardest working man in music. Darren, thank you so much for being on the show. One of the nicer guys I've ever talked to, and we've talked to lots of folks. Thanks so much for being on. And hey, when more comes out with Age of Liberty, when the album's out, we'd love to have you back to not only talk more about it, but review it and give you our thoughts on it. But we're really excited to hear it. But Darren, thank you so much for being on Accordion Metal. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys.
To check out the entire episode or previous episodes of the According to Metal podcast, simply click subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or the podcatcher of your choice. It's the According to Metal podcast. Latest news, reviews, interviews, and all things metal. Subscribe. You know you want to. That is, unless, I don't know, you like Coldplay or something.